Hello, you're watching SME on Point. My name is Diabosito. We are out of the studio and we are in a conference center. We are in Cape Town this week at the Investing in Mining African Indaba 2025. This is an annual conference that is hosted here in Cape Town. And we thought this week, we would broadcast from here and speak to a unique business that you would not ordinarily think of finding in a mining Indaba. Just Gospel is an internet radio, gospel radio station. It is founded and run by Khaled Badenhorst, and she's the founder as well as the owner of it. And I, going through my work, I just saw that there's an internet radio station here and it's gospel. But we are at a mining conference. What gives? So I need to speak to her and find out what brings mining, faith, and small businesses together. Khaled Badenhorst joins me now. Thank you so much for your time. Let's first start by talking about Just Gospel and how it intersects with mining. What brings you here?
Hello. Just Gospel. I think when you think about gospel, it's always about just going to church. But we need to have more rounded people, or Christians. And hence the fact we're here to give perspective of what's happening outside in the economy and in the mining industry. And then as well have that faith-based to say, okay, listen, I can invest in gold, but I'm also a Christian. So it's not just going out there, going to church, but it's that whole rounded person or a Christian as such. Yeah.
Before we even get there, it's often very difficult to merge faith-based businesses and or to match faith and finances. You are a business at the end of the day, and you're only 5 months old. Congratulations, by the way. Tell me about the journey of starting this internet radio stations, the intricacies, how you make your money, what keeps you awake at night?
So money definitely keeps us awake at night. How do we pay our staff? How do we pay? It's all those little things that keeps us awake. But needless to say, it's the faith business to say, Lord, it's your business. You will sort it out. You have to, because it's not my business. It's God's business. And with that in mind, I think being 5 months old, I've got another business called Photos at Carlet, and that business now finance Just Gospel at this moment. But you know what? We need to get the money and we need to get the advertising in. And with that in mind, we know that the Lord is sending the clients. They are sending the adverts. And so at this moment, we are growing. We have a plan. So our plan was just to get ahead and just open up, but now our plan is to get the listeners going and get the brand out there. And for me, that is quite important, because it's not just the brand, it's the brand of Jesus Christ. That is the most important thing. It's a radio station, but we're pushing the gospel.
You mentioned that you also run another business, a photography business, which is the one that funded this business. One could say, it sounds like when you look at the equipment, because it's mobile equipment, is it something that where you needed just a mic and you needed a laptop and a recorder? What did you need and how much capital outlay was there? The reason I'm asking that is because there could be someone at home who's thinking, I'd actually like to start something similar like that. So just to give them an idea of how this works.
So startup, we started by faith. That is how the startup worked. So it was a faith-based thing, but having a photography business, we had some of the equipment already. So we decided, our studios are in Vereniging, and I only asked for a table and a chair. That is what we needed there, but the Lord just gave absolutely more. He gave us an incredible studio as well. But with that startup, something like this would probably cost you about 30 to 40K just to start up, because there's licenses, there's quite a few things that needs to run before you can even think of opening the doors of a radio station. So, yeah, we, at least luckily or by grace, God provided the resources for us to just hop in and start this.
Let's come back to the investing in African mining in Indaba. There's been so much that has been happening since Monday when it began. What has stood out for you as a business and for you personally as an entrepreneur about what has been discussed here at the Indaba?
So for me, being a Christian, we know that we need to invest in and having capital putting aside. And for me, that was quite a unique thing yet again to be at the mining Indaba and say, okay, investments are important. And we had an interview yesterday with women in mining and how the women force is busy up getting to where they also should be in. So that I think stood out for me is that there's equality now, I think, or they're trying to get the levels sorted at this point. So, but for me, being here is actually quite interesting because we know that being a Christian, you need to be open-minded for the economy as well. You can't just be narrow-minded in what you do.
Tell me about the interesting people in mining that you've spoken to, that you have interviewed, and some of the things perhaps that they've said that stood out as well.
So for me, I've spoken to a Christu from, I can't remember the company now, but he is actually a pastor's husband. So that was the conversations we had, is faith-based. So how would you as a man being, it's always the other way around. Okay, so this one was quite interesting with Chris to that, and he's here, he's doing his thing, and his testimony was such an awesome testimony that the Lord just came through for him, and so that was one of the interesting ones. We had the women in mining as well. That was quite nice, and of course we had an interview with you as well, which was a very nice one as well, Diabo. It shows that you can be wherever you are, being in the media, being in the mining industry, but still be grounded in your faith.
So here on SME on Point, Khaled, we are big on increasing the number of entrepreneurs and small business owners that the country has. And I'm quite obsessed with sharing information. I'm obsessed with giving out information. So people who watch us, we have a loyal following of people who watch us. They're able to think out of the box and think of what they already have. There are people who most likely already have the setup or have an idea. Won't you spend a few minutes that we have left in giving them an idea of how to get started and how to sustain a business like this?
That's a good question. It's sustainability is important for running a business and being creative. I'm talking out of my point of view, is being a creative. You're always there to see how you can make money, but it's not about the money, it's about how you can serve your community out there. So being in business, a few pointers. All right, so a few pointers would be just start. Just start. Don't overthink it, because when you start overthinking it, you will find yourself in a position of not doing it at all. So be brave enough to just start, although it's just with a mic and a computer and internet, because that's basically our setup here, is a mic, a computer and the internet. So and dream, that's the other key for me, is don't just dream small. Dream big, and then push a lot into money, capital, whatever you've got, whatever resources you have.
And go to Mining Indaba and other conferences.
Yes, going to other conferences as well. So push your dream. But for me personally, the most important thing when you start up a business, you need to be brave and bold and courageous. But with that in mind, being just gospel, we are faith-based. And with that, I spend 99% of my time on my knees praying and say, Lord, we need to get some clients in, this needs to happen, but most of all, it's your company, it's not ours. We just the stewards, we just do it. So be brave, bold and courageous, that's it.
Khaled, thank you so much for making time to speak to us here on SME on Point. We really appreciate it. I've been in conversation with the owner and founder of Just Gospel, Khaled Badenhorst, and we've been talking about where faith comes or intersects with mining, where it intersects with business here on SME on Point. We thought she's a great interview to have because just to look at the business of faith and what you can do. She's given out a very important nuggets on how you can get started, being bold and being courageous, being some of them. As I always say, please remember to support small businesses in your communities. Let's let those rands and cents circulate. Goodbye.